Ramadan is a sacred time for Muslims, a month dedicated to fasting, reflection, prayer, and spiritual growth. Beyond the mere physical act of abstaining from food and drink, Ramadan offers an opportunity to reorient one's life towards spiritual and intellectual pursuits, all while fostering empathy, charity, and community. For over a millennium, Muslim thinkers and scholars have reflected on the deeper meanings of this month. Among them, Ibn Sina, Avicenna, one of the greatest minds of the Islamic Golden Age, has left behind profound teachings that provide guidance on how to approach this blessed time. Ibn Sina's intellectual legacy in fields such as philosophy, medicine, and ethics has had a lasting impact on both the Islamic world and the West. His life and works offer timeless lessons about the interconnectedness of mind, body, and spirit, principles that are especially relevant during the transformative month of Ramadan. His teachings can guide Muslims through a holistic Ramadan experience that focuses on self-discipline, spiritual growth, intellectual development, and compassion. This video will explore Ibn Sina's life lessons in the context of Ramadan, expanding on key themes such as self-discipline, knowledge, the balance between mind and body, personal growth, empathy, and charity, all of which resonate deeply with the spirit of Ramadan. 1. Self-discipline and control over desires. Self-discipline was at the heart of Ibn Sina's philosophy. As a polymath who mastered numerous disciplines, ranging from medicine to metaphysics, he recognized that true intellectual and spiritual achievement required control over one's base desires. This is particularly significant in the context of Ramadan, where fasting becomes an act of profound self-restraint. Ibn Sina's teachings about self-discipline extend beyond just controlling the body's desires for food, drink, or pleasure. He argued that the pursuit of intellectual and spiritual growth demanded the ability to master one's inner distractions and urges. This ability to self-regulate, he believed, was not just about controlling physical impulses but also emotional, mental, and spiritual distractions. In Ramadan, Muslims are called to fast, but fasting is not simply about avoiding food. It is about denying oneself the distractions that can divert attention from the higher goals of life, spiritual purity and the pursuit of knowledge. Ibn Sina would have seen the practice of fasting as a way of elevating one's soul by forcing individuals to focus their energy and attention on their spiritual and intellectual pursuits. The restraint practiced during Ramadan is, therefore, an exercise in developing mastery over the self, which Ibn Sina would consider a critical step in achieving intellectual enlightenment. The fasting experience in Ramadan offers Muslims an opportunity to strengthen their willpower and develop a deep sense of self-control. For Ibn Sina, fasting was not a passive act, but an active method of purging the body's excesses to allow for greater clarity of thought and purpose. By controlling one's desires, a person could free themselves from the distractions of worldly attachments, leading to a stronger connection with their true self and a deeper relationship with Allah. 2. The mind-body connection, a holistic approach to wellness. Ibn Sina's understanding of human wellness was deeply holistic. As a physician, he was one of the first to propose that the health of the body and mind were interdependent. His philosophy was rooted in the idea that true health could not be achieved if either the body or the mind was neglected. This idea is central to his teachings and can be applied directly to the experience of Ramadan. Fasting during Ramadan is often seen as a physical challenge, as it requires abstaining from food, drink, and other comforts for an extended period. However, for Ibn Sina, this physical challenge must be met with an equally robust mental and spiritual approach. The act of fasting, while taxing on the body, can provide an opportunity for mental and spiritual renewal. By depriving the body of its physical needs, individuals create space for the mind to focus more clearly on higher spiritual and intellectual goals. Ibn Sina's teachings suggest that the mind and body are not separate entities but are intricately connected. Maintaining balance between the two is essential for holistic wellness. In Ramadan, this balance is of utmost importance. While the physical act of fasting may cause discomfort, it can also serve as a form of purification for both the body and mind. By denying the body its indulgences, one can free the mind to focus more fully on spiritual practices, reflection, and intellectual pursuits. Ibn Sina believed that mental and physical health were closely tied. If a person neglected their physical health, their mental faculties would suffer. Conversely, neglecting the mind would lead to poor physical health. Thus, he advocated for a balanced lifestyle, one that nurtured both body and mind. During Ramadan, Muslims can incorporate this philosophy by ensuring they take care of their physical health while also engaging in spiritual practices such as prayer, meditation, and study. 3. Reflection, personal growth, and the pursuit of knowledge. At the heart of Ibn Sina's life and work was an unwavering commitment to the pursuit of knowledge. He was a philosopher, scientist, and physician, but above all, he was a seeker of truth. His thirst for understanding drove him to explore every facet of life, from metaphysics to medicine. This relentless pursuit of knowledge, he believed, was the means through which individuals could connect with the divine and achieve a deeper understanding of their existence. Ramadan, as a time of fasting, prayer, and reflection, provides an ideal opportunity for personal growth and intellectual development. Ibn Sina would encourage Muslims to use this time to reflect on their lives, to contemplate their actions, and to dedicate themselves to furthering their understanding of the world. Just as he was committed to intellectual growth throughout his life, he would likely suggest that Ramadan be a time to engage deeply with knowledge, not just religious knowledge, but all forms of learning. Personal growth during Ramadan is not only about self-reflection, but also about striving for intellectual and spiritual enlightenment. Ibn Sina's life teaches that knowledge is not confined to theoretical study but should be applied to the practical challenges of life. Ramadan is the perfect time to examine one's actions and to use fasting as a tool to gain clarity of thought and spirit. For Ibn Sina, knowledge was a means of understanding the divine order of the universe. Ramadan, with its focus on purification and discipline, can be a transformative time for intellectual growth. Ibn Sina might advise Muslims to engage in deeper study, be it the study of the Quran, philosophy, science, or the works of past scholars. Knowledge, in Ibn Sina's view, should be a lifelong pursuit, one that brings individuals closer to the divine while also benefiting society as a whole. 4. Compassion, charity, and the development of empathy. While Ibn Sina was a brilliant scholar, his ethical teachings were equally profound. He recognized that true moral growth could not be achieved without compassion and empathy for others. His view of ethics extended beyond intellectual pursuit; it was a practical, action-oriented philosophy. For Ibn Sina, being a scholar meant not only acquiring knowledge but also using that knowledge for the betterment of others. During Ramadan, Muslims are called to engage in acts of charity and compassion, not just toward those who are close to them but also toward those in need. Fasting, which strips away material comforts, enables individuals to feel the hunger and thirst that the less fortunate experience every day. This sense of empathy, of truly understanding the struggles of others, fosters compassion and drives charitable actions. Ibn Sina would have viewed fasting as a way to deepen one's understanding of the human condition. The physical act of abstaining from food and drink creates a direct connection to the suffering of others. In this way, Ramadan becomes a time to reflect on one's moral responsibility toward others, urging individuals to act with kindness and generosity. Moreover, Ibn Sina would have stressed the importance of using one's resources, whether time, money, or skills to help others. His ethical teachings emphasize not only the importance of personal growth but also the responsibility to improve the lives of those around us. Ramadan, therefore, is not just a time of self-discipline but a time for individuals to take concrete actions to help those less fortunate. 5. The role of spirituality and connection to the divine. For Ibn Sina, spirituality was not a separate dimension of life but was integral to the human experience. He argued that intellectual and spiritual growth were intertwined, with knowledge serving as a pathway to understanding the divine. In his view, the human soul's ultimate goal was to achieve unity with the divine through both intellectual and moral development. Ramadan, for Ibn Sina, would be seen as an opportunity to elevate the soul through both fasting and prayer. The act of fasting, which demands physical discipline, serves as a means of purifying the soul. As one's body becomes purified through fasting, the soul can turn more fully toward worship, reflection, and connection with Allah. The month of Ramadan, with its emphasis on worship, prayer, and spiritual renewal, would be the ideal time to reflect on one's relationship with the divine. During Ramadan, Muslims engage in extra prayers, read the Quran, and strive to connect more deeply with Allah. Ibn Sina would view these practices as crucial to the process of spiritual purification. By dedicating oneself to worship and prayer during Ramadan, an individual could attain greater closeness to Allah and gain a deeper understanding of the divine order of the universe. Ibn Sina's teachings would encourage Muslims to see Ramadan as more than a ritualistic observance. It is a means to purify the soul, strengthen one's connection to Allah, and engage in intellectual and moral reflection. By combining physical, mental, and spiritual discipline, one can achieve a state of harmony that brings one closer to the divine. 6. The importance of patience in spiritual practice. Ibn Sina's philosophy emphasized the critical role of patience in both intellectual and spiritual development. He believed that mastery over any field of knowledge or discipline requires time, persistence, and endurance. This principle is particularly relevant during Ramadan, a month in which patience is tested on both physical and spiritual levels. Fasting is an exercise in patience, waiting for the sunset to break the fast, enduring physical hunger and thirst, and refraining from desires that are usually indulged. Ramadan offers an opportunity for Muslims to cultivate patience not only in relation to the act of fasting but also in their day-to-day behavior. This patience in everyday life reflects the spiritual endurance that Ibn Sina championed in his philosophy. For Ibn Sina, patience was not just about passive endurance, it was about active perseverance in the pursuit of higher goals. In Ramadan, patience can also be a way of cultivating inner peace and contentment. When a person becomes accustomed to the discomfort of fasting and learns to maintain composure through hunger, they are better equipped to endure the challenges of life with serenity and grace. Thus, Ramadan serves as an opportunity to strengthen one's ability to be patient, both in times of hardship and in moments of spiritual reflection. 7. The pursuit of inner peace and mental clarity. Ibn Sina placed a significant emphasis on the importance of inner peace for intellectual and spiritual clarity. In his works, he often stressed the need for a clear and calm mind in order to perceive the truth and to pursue wisdom. Ramadan provides a unique opportunity for Muslims to quiet the mind and soul, creating an atmosphere conducive to reflection and contemplation. The daily act of fasting, combined with additional time spent in prayer and introspection, allows individuals to remove distractions and focus on the deeper, more meaningful aspects of life. Ibn Sina would likely see this as a time when one can cleanse the mind of unnecessary worries and distractions, turning one's attention to the essential truths of existence. The discipline of fasting, with its focus on silence, self-control, and meditation, fosters an environment where the mind is free to seek inner peace. Ibn Sina's ideas on achieving mental clarity through solitude, prayer, and self-discipline align well with the principles of Ramadan. During this month, Muslims can focus their energy on finding balance and serenity in the midst of life's demands. By reducing external distractions and turning inward, they can develop greater mental clarity and achieve a sense of peace that aids in spiritual and intellectual growth. 8. The connection between knowledge and action. Ibn Sina did not view knowledge as an abstract pursuit. For him, knowledge was always connected to action. He argued that true wisdom is demonstrated through how one lives and applies their knowledge to the benefit of society. This teaching is especially relevant to the ethical and charitable dimensions of Ramadan. During Ramadan, Muslims are encouraged to engage in acts of charity and kindness, and to act in ways that benefit the broader community. Ibn Sina's philosophy would have placed great importance on ensuring that one's intellectual and spiritual pursuits were not solely for personal gain but were used to serve others. Whether it is through the knowledge gained during Ramadan or the reflection on one's actions, Muslims are called to turn their insights into tangible acts of good. For Ibn Sina, action grounded in knowledge is the most powerful way to live. In Ramadan, this would manifest through acts of charity, the pursuit of justice, and the spreading of wisdom to others. Muslims are reminded to live not just in accordance with religious obligations but to use the knowledge they acquire to better the lives of others and to be a force of positive change in the world. 9. Acknowledge the divine order in all things. One of Ibn Sina's core beliefs was that everything in the universe follows a divine order, and the pursuit of knowledge was a means of understanding that order. He viewed the world as a harmonious system created by a rational and all-knowing creator, where each element of creation has a specific purpose. During Ramadan, this philosophy is particularly pertinent as Muslims are encouraged to recognize and align themselves with the divine order. In fasting, prayer, and reflection, Muslims acknowledge that they are part of a larger, divinely orchestrated plan. The very act of fasting, while seemingly simple, is part of a greater cosmic rhythm that reflects submission to Allah's will. Ibn Sina believed that true intellectual and spiritual development comes from understanding and aligning with the divine order. For Muslims, Ramadan is a time to submit to Allah's will, recognizing that fasting is part of a divine plan that leads to greater spiritual growth. This is an opportunity to reflect on the ways in which their actions, both in Ramadan and beyond, fit into the greater fabric of creation. By following the divine order through worship, prayer, and discipline, Muslims align themselves with the greater purpose of the universe, a philosophy Ibn Sina would deeply resonate with. 10. The role of reflection in personal transformation. For Ibn Sina, reflection was a vital component of personal transformation. He believed that through thoughtful introspection, individuals could come to understand their own weaknesses and strengths, leading to a process of constant self-improvement. Ramadan, with its emphasis on spiritual reflection, offers the perfect opportunity for this kind of inner examination. During the month of Ramadan, fasting is often accompanied by increased time for prayer, reading the Quran, and reflecting on one's actions. Ibn Sina would have seen this as a critical practice for growth, one that allows individuals to examine their behavior, identify areas of improvement, and seek forgiveness for past wrongdoings. Through this self-reflection, a person can better understand their place in the world and their relationship with Allah. The act of reflecting on one's actions and thoughts is central to the concept of tazkiyah, spiritual purification, which is closely tied to the month of Ramadan. By regularly engaging in this kind of reflective process, Muslims can work toward greater self-awareness, personal growth, and spiritual development. Ibn Sina would have viewed this transformative process as essential to the intellectual and spiritual journey, with Ramadan being an ideal time to engage deeply in self-examination. Conclusion. Ibn Sina's life and teachings offer profound insights into how one can approach Ramadan with purpose and depth. His emphasis on self-discipline, intellectual growth, and compassion are all principles that resonate deeply with the goals of Ramadan. By practicing fasting not just as a physical act but as a means of purifying the mind and soul, Muslims can use Ramadan as a time to reflect on their personal development, increase their empathy for others, and seek greater connection with the divine. Ibn Sina's holistic approach to life, where intellectual, physical, and spiritual growth are intertwined, provides an invaluable framework for understanding and embracing the true meaning of Ramadan. By following his teachings, Muslims can use this sacred month not just as a time of fasting, but as a transformative journey that enhances their relationship with themselves, others, and Allah.